We're going.
Yeah, it has 79.
Oh, perfect. Oh, let's record. Yeah, it's recording.
Oh,
yeah. Hi! Welcome to... Should we say our new name?
Oh yeah, welcome to Trail Mix.
Oh god, that was a horrible way. Okay, get 3, 2, 1. Trail Mix. Welcome.
So we're on our hike.
We just started.
We just started to Poo Poo Point, which is in Issaquah.
Because some of us might be poo-pooing on this trail today.
Yes.
Ooh,
We've done this
coffee.
many times, and we think it's funny because actually one of the times, did I ever tell you this?
No.
So me and my kids went, and I took the triplets with me.
Yeah.
And they went, excuse us. So when we got to the top, there was a dog who just pooped right literally at the very top of it. And they could not get over it. Like they started laughing
Cackling.
Hysterically.
Because
I mean,
poo-poo
you know,
at
poo-poo.
Poo-Poo Point,
Yeah. Anyways, so
it's still going. It just
still
turns
going?
out. Yeah, it's still going.
Okay. Well, I was
We're
worried
living,
about it.
laughing, loving our way through this.
So,
recording.
anyways, yes, we're doing this. So here we
journey
are.
Number 2.
Journey number 2.
We're starting off. So we're taking this. We should explain. There's 2 trails to get to Poo-Poo Point.
Here's my dog. He's coming with us.
Yeah, Max is always gonna be.
And my name's Christina. This is
Adam.
Christina Baker, Adam Richardson.
Yeah, siblings extraordinaire.
Siblings extraordinaire. So
2 trails.
2 trails.
We're doing the trail that goes behind the high school. There is the shorter, steeper trail that most people do, but this is the better one.
Why do you think it's the better one?
I think it's definitely the better one.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't. Okay. All right.
The other one's not nearly as
Max.
safe. I would say that the other one isn't as fun, and while it is shorter, it's so steep. It's not fun. I don't like it.
I like the shorter one.
You like the shorter one? Okay,
Yeah.
make your case. Why do you like the shorter one better?
Because it's like short, sweet, and to the point.
Yes.
And then in addition to it, you get to see both sides.
Oh, I guess.
Like you get to stop at one side of the mountain, and then you go up to the other side.
That's true.
That's why I like it. Let's talk about our
So
process.
we knew that we wanted to incorporate trails, and then also the fact that we are 2 siblings that are just gonna shoot the shit, talking about our differences and talking about things that, you know, each one of us bring to the table, coming from different sides of
life. The family, of age, of
sexuality,
gender,
religion,
all of it.
the things.
All of it.
So we were thinking about all these things, and we actually brought the ideas to our family.
Yes.
Because we have a family Marco
initially we thought of, what was it? BS Trail.
Yeah, we had this thing like brother, sister, like BS. We thought it'd be hilarious.
BS what? What were we gonna call it?
BS Trail something. Trail BS.
Trail BS was because it was like BS, but also brother, sister,
We shoot the shit here.
Yes. So, but then we were like, well, we don't know. So we brought it to our family.
Ooh, look at the hawk.
Oh yeah. Look at this. This is beautiful. Okay.
So we did bring it to our family. We have a family Marco Polo that is very active. And we were like, hey, here's the idea. Here's where we're going. And they showed up and showed out, honestly.
Yeah.
When it came to ideas.
They come up with all sorts of things. Trail tea. I don't know. A bunch of them. And then our sister Hannah, she's number 4 in the lineup.
So she's hotshot movie or TV show producer turned mother / philanthropist. Is that what she does? What's her master's degree in?
Yeah, something
along those lines.
Something along those lines. We'll have her on.
We'll have her on, and she can explain her journey. She spent like a whole day thinking about it, and like came with all these ideas. And she said trail tea or trail.
She said trail mix would be awesome because it's like we're a mix of different people. We're talking about a mix of different things.
And who doesn't love trail mix?
And who doesn't love trail mix? So our thought is every journey that we go on, every hike, every trail, we're gonna have a new trail mix with us. Also, we're gonna talk about a song a theme song for each trail.
For each trail, we have to assign the trail, the mix of the trail.
The mix of the trail, like, and sadly,
what happened to today's trail mix, Christina?
I had bought trail mix, and I forgot it, but I remembered the GoPro, so
2 thumbs up.
But also, this guy did not remind me, so I also put partial blame on him.
I'm putting that in my new co-host duties, is remind Christina to bring trail mix.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we're going to keep hiking. We'll come back in just a little bit.
Yes. But here, as we hike, we're going to just show you a little bit of this lovely hike. It actually branches off into several different places, hikes. And actually, the Issaquah High School uses this for their cross country.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's super fun. And the middle school too.
That's cute.
So here's this map over here, so you can see it of what we're doing.
Right here. We started right there.
Yeah, we started right here. We're right here, and we're going off to Poo-Poo. So
kind of cute, kind of fun.
Pretty fun. And of course we chose a lovely rainy day to do it.
So
yesterday was
beautiful.
Should have probably done it then, but we instead
someone said no
right there, him. But I do have to say, we did go and we saw Mean Girls,
and it was better than we thought it was going to be.
Better than we thought. That is our review
of Mean Girls.
I mean, we do love the OG. We do love the musical. This was kind of cool because it was like a mix of both.
Oh my God, not a mix.
Speaking of
mixing.
Come on, Max. Max is sniffing away. All right.
Okay.
So we'll keep it going. Okay. All right. This is on our trail. This is one of our favorite kind of stops on the trail. And we come over here. Like a little creek. Very beautiful. And then kind of still going. All right. Keep going up.
Keep going. So, shall we tell them what our topic of the journey is today?
Sure. What's our topic?
Well, last time was my time to introduce myself. So this time, Christina, it's your time. It's Xtina's time to shine.
Xtina.
So, Christina.
Yes. Yes.
The one and only. The numero uno, if you will.
Number one.
Tell us about here. I'll take this.
Okay. Tell us about my journey?
Yes, tell us about your journey.
Okay. I'll try to make it more succinct.
I know, mine was not succinct at all.
Adam rambled. Just kidding, Adam. We love you.
Well, it's hard not to, like, when you're talking about your life journey.
Your life journey. I agree. When you're talking about your life journey, it's hard not to, like, go into detail. So I was born the oldest of 12. We moved around a lot at the beginning. I was born in Provo, then Utah, and then we moved to New York, and we lived in upstate New York, Binghamton, and my parents didn't have very much money. Like, they made our dresses, they didn't have very much furniture, but I loved it. Like, we backed up to a park, and it had a big willow tree and a carousel and a pool, and so honestly I never knew that we didn't have very much money, but it was fantastic. And then we moved to kind of by New York City in Yorktown Heights, and that's where I went to elementary school, and we were the only, so as you know, our family is members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that's what we grew up as. Some have left, some have not. I have stayed. I am a member of the church, and as growing up, there weren't very many members around. Like, it took us 45 minutes to go to our church, and so there was no one in my elementary school, but I loved it. It was like, is this the right?
Yeah, we're going the right way.
Okay. Just
This is kind of cool.
This is very cool too.
So
I grew up with a lot of people who were Jewish, Italian, Roman Catholic. You know, so I had definitely a different upbringing, I would say, than you guys.
yeah.
As far as that was concerned. 'Cause
Well, the diversity and
diversity,
you know, you guys grew up
and
in a
also
different financial
we grew up
area.
financially with not as much money.
Yeah.
And then my dad went to basically did better in IBM and then switched over to Microsoft and did very well, and financially did better. I went to high school at Redmond High School. By the time I graduated, I went to BYU because that's kind of what you did in our family. It was
When
like,
you started that tradition because you were the first of 12.
well, so I was going to apply to several places. I applied to BYU first in November, and within 2 or 3 weeks, I got accepted right away. And so it was like, well, great, you got accepted. That's where you're going.
Yeah.
So I didn't even apply anywhere else.
So I have a question for you. Like, being the oldest of 12, and at that point when you were applying,
But
there were 10 of us.
I wish I would have. I wish I would have applied to other places and had other options. BYU, honestly, and I think everyone can agree with me on this, it's cheap for the education
Totally.
that you get.
Absolutely.
And I think even some of us who have more issues with BYU than others would agree with that.
Yeah.
Right, Adam?
Absolutely. That's what, you can't argue with the price tag.
You can't argue with the price tag. And the type of education. Like the dietetics program is great there. So
Yeah.
I can't, I'm like, well.
So my question to you, kind of as we move on into like the college era of your life, is like, what role did being the oldest of, at this point, 10 siblings, but eventually 12 siblings play into, what you chose to do with your life, going off to college? Like, did you feel the weight of being like the older sister, or
Yeah, totally.
how has that played a role into like you choosing your path and all the choices you made since?
I initially chose speech therapy because you and William did speech therapy.
Oh yeah.
And that was why I chose it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep. Initially, I chose speech therapy because my younger siblings had done it. And so I was like, oh, I'll do this. But then it wasn't my thing. And that's fine. I mean, everyone goes through that, right? And I actually took these, career tests and met with a career counselor. And I loved the medical field, medical profession. And I loved exercise and nutrition. And so the career counselor kind of was like, well, if you love chemistry too, you should try dietetics. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I did. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This is me. And that's what I majored in. I majored in dietetics.
I love that.
And then when I was 20, they had Clara, who was number 11, and 22, they had Deborah. So even while I was in college, there were still kids being born.
And what was your like reaction to at 22, especially, many Mormon women have children by that age.
Right.
Like that is just a common thing that happens.
Well,
and
honestly, for me, I did not want to have kids yet or be married. So I was happy with where I was at. I also chose not to go on a mission. I'm one of a handful of my family that did not go. But that was because I felt very strongly that I had another path. And I didn't get married I mean, I still think it's very young. I got married at 25, but anyways, that I went through all of BYU without getting married or having like a super serious boyfriend.
Nexie! Oh, he's
The
water. He wants water. Here, look at all the...
Very pretty.
It's very pretty right now. Wow. Okay, so.
Once I graduated, so I graduated BYU in 5.5 years. It took me a little longer because I switched majors. And then,
not to be a competition, but I graduated in 3.
I know. Stop. But I did get an internship through Yale University.
Ooh, she went Ivy League.
For dietetics. It's not actually, it's through...
you went Ivy League, Christina.
Sodexo and the Yale Medical School, okay?
I love it.
And it was a year internship in Connecticut, and that's actually where I met my husband, Ivan. And we met that November. I got in, the craziest part about the beginning of my internship was I was supposed to fly to New York on 9/11, and my dad wakes me up and he's like, "You're not going anywhere." And he turns on the TV and
9/11 happened.
there it is. And I actually could not get to my internship. I was the only one. Everyone else was on the East Coast or already there.
Yeah.
And I could not get to, I was basically a week late to get there. And traveling there was crazy. Like, they had to stop in Ohio because they didn't have enough crew to fly the plane. So, anyways, regardless, it was kind of it was crazy. And a lot of people who were working at the Yale Hospital, some of them went down to help. Anyways, it was an experience there, and to see the aftermath of 9/11, because we would go down that year, was just something I'll never forget. Very tragic. But in November of that year, I met Ivan through a friend. We actually went and saw the first Harry Potter movie together, and we kept in touch. We hung out.
Oh, one sec. This is really pretty. One sec.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you met the love of your life. You were hanging out.
I go home for Christmas, and after Christmas, I come back. We're talking, and then my friend who introduced us was like, "Christina, guess what? Ivan got diagnosed with leukemia, CML." And I'm like, "What?"
Is that a direct quote?
Yes. What? Just like, okay. And I was like, because we were kind of talking, and
were you guys official at this point?
No. Because again, he lived in Boston and I was in New Haven, so there's a 3-hour
drive,
okay. Right? He didn't have a cell phone. I had a cell phone, but again, cell phones weren't
a thing,
a big thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went and saw him up in Boston, and we kept in contact. I even saw him in the hospital, because he was in the hospital. He got a bone marrow transplant. And then I saw him also outside of the hospital when he came back. He stayed in Boston for a little bit, and then went to back to Moses Lake, Washington, which is where he's from. And I went back to Seattle after my year internship. And then we actually officially started dating.
Ah! So you hung out. Okay, question. How did, like, seeing Ivan go through that even before you started dating, like, how do you feel like that affected your relationship moving forward?
But both me and Ivan were like, we are not, like, going to date or officially date or say we're girlfriend or boyfriend until, like, until he's, like, after everything. So we would email, we would call.
Cute.
There was not a lot of texting because, again, he didn't have a phone or even social media, right? This was a different time.
She's so young. She's so youthful.
So then we, it was like, I don't know what's going to happen with this. Truly, like, I did not think much of it. I was like, well, sure, we'll keep in contact, right? And then when we both moved back to Washington, we definitely saw each other a lot more. And we actually then started to date. And
at that point, he had beaten the cancer.
No, actually. It ended up coming back, and he had to get like another kind of this, it's a type of transfusion he had to get to help kind of beat it again. But it just came back slightly. So so that was the hardest part, honestly, of the whole thing, because we started dating, and it was like, how serious do we get? Because he had to go back to Boston, and it was like, well, do we move forward and like make the commitment to each other and take this leap of faith, or do we like not and just wait and see? And that honestly was one of the hardest decisions. Like, I vividly remember it was on February 14th of 2023 that that we had this like very hard discussion about what.
Wait, of what year? You said 2023.
2003.
2003. 20-year difference, no big deal.
20-year difference, 2003. That we had to make that decision of
what you guys were actually going
to do.
So question, if you could like go back and like have a conversation with yourself from that era, like making that decision, is there anything like with the foresight, would you have told yourself anything or done anything differently, or like is there anything you could tell yourself?
I guess I would tell, like, because we were like, oh, he's going to be 100% better and no side effects and stuff. You know, we were young. We were like, oh, there's not going to be any like kind of repercussions. But I ended up having to do in vitro 4 times because of it, and artificial insemination, and that he like had a lot of health problems because of it. And I think just having that knowledge beforehand and not thinking that all is good, right? Yeah. I think that would have been helpful. I would have still, of course, look at this.
So you, of course, still would have done it, but
still married him, of course.
But you wanted the realistic outlook,
I just
maybe.
Wanted the realistic aspect of it. I think we were just kind of young and naive a little bit, right? But that's about all I would change. So then we moved forward. After we had that, literally, I remember sitting in claim jumpers.
Not claim jumpers.
Claim jumpers, and not being able to eat a bite because it was like such a heavy discussion.
The claim jumpers has the best burgers. The Widowmaker, do you remember that? The Widowmaker burger. It was the biggest burger ever, and every time we went,
we're so good too. But yes, what we're gonna say.
R.I.P. claim jumpers. We love you.
No, there's still there's one in Texilla.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go.
Yes. Because we need the Widowmaker burger.
We need the Widowmaker burger.
Anyway, so we moved forward. Literally, then he got this like other sort of blood transfusion they did, and we got engaged. Like right after that.
He got a blood transfusion and we got engaged.
Like a special transfusion. Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, it's coming back, and we're getting engaged. But honestly, like, we got married in August of that year, and then we went off to school, and all of his next labs came back, and they were negative. So
he was cancer-free. Yeah. It was cancer-free after you got married.
The one last piece I would say is then Ivan, of course, had another bout of cancer, a different type of cancer, it was like 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And that was, again, another scare. He had salivary gland cancer, and he had to have surgery to remove the tumor and then radiation. So we've experienced our fair share of health issues. And Ivan has also switched jobs multiple times. He now works for a startup. I worked when I came back. I'm a dietitian by trade. I worked in Boston, then I went to Pro Club in Bellevue, and now I work for, I took a couple years off when the kids were toddlers, the triplets were toddlers because they were terrible. I love them dearly, but they were very difficult. And Ivan was commuting into Seattle. So, but I went back to work. Again, yeah, it's been 6 years. And 6 years is when he had right after Ivan had his tumor removed and radiation, I went back to work.
Cute.
At Evergreen Hospital. And I have been there ever since. I do weight loss. I do just general nutrition counseling, cardiac rehab, pulmonary rehab. I teach classes. I really like the variety. So
I love that. Here.
That's anything else.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
I have a couple of follow-up questions, but we'll stop and we'll...
Okay. All right.
Okay, we made it!
We did it.
Way easier than our first one.
Way easier.
We
Thank you
crushed
for
that.
coming on our journey.
On our journey.
To poo-poo points.
To poo-poo. And none of us shot our pants, so that's good.
Yay!
Woo! Really was close there for a second, but...
But we did it.
Well, hope you enjoyed the view. I feel like talking about poop with this type of view is a little disrespectful, but whatever. It's fine.
I know it's beautiful today.
It really is.
And it stopped raining too.
It really cleared up, and all that like fog down there.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Bye guys.